Good morning, Ugly Mug Marketing friends and everyone else who is tuning in with us live this morning. We appreciate you being here, whether you're tuning in live, like I said, or whether you're going to be joining us and watching this later. We are so grateful you're joining us here today. We've got a lot of great information for you today and want to note two very important things. The first one is if you leave a comment or ask us a question below during the live feed, we will make sure that we get to your comment at the end during our question and answer time. And if you do leave a comment, you're also entering yourself to get our 6-week masterclass for free. So if you ask any sort of question or just comment below and say, I want the free Facebook masterclass, we will make sure that we follow up with you today and that we get that over to you. Let me get us in presentation mode here and we'll get things started. For those of you who don't know, my name is Hannah Acosta and I'm the social media manager here at Ugly Mug Marketing. It is a joy to be with you here this morning. Like I said, we have great things for you and I am going to dive right in to our current reality. What is the current reality? We are in week, I don't even know, of COVID-19. I think we're in week 5 or 6 for some of us, depending on when your state has been started shut down or whenever you started self-quarantining in your home. The current reality is this. There are a lot of companies who are being affected by this, restaurant industry, and just to name one of them that's being heavily impacted during this time. And what we're finding is on social media, specifically on Facebook, there are people who are pausing their ad campaigns, they're drawing back their marketing dollars, and we feel that this is the time to be investing in your business, to be trying Facebook ads, even if you've never tried them before. If you are currently running Facebook ads, don't completely draw back. Your dollar can take you further during this time. Now, what do I mean by that? If you see here, we have some before and after screenshots. This is for one of our clients who we are currently running lead generation ads for. The screenshot at the top for before is from the month of March this year, so just a month ago. And the after screenshot was just a couple weeks into the month of April. So you can see that their cost per lead dropped significantly. It went from $8.89 on that top one to $7.29, from $17.78 down to $14.48, from $15.98 down to $9.52, and then from $11.43 to $9.19. All of these ads are targeted towards the exact same audience, and they have the exact same copy, the exact same graphic and everything. The only thing that has changed is Facebook. So one other one that I want to quick show you here too, this one has probably by far been the most dramatic when we've gone back and pulled before and afters. So before, we were running this ad for another one of our clients, again, to generate leads for them for a special that they promote monthly. When we first started running this in January, December, the leads were $26.67. When we're running them right now in this current month, I took the screenshot earlier this week, we are getting the same, with the same exact ad, again, same copy, same image, same everything, same audience. These leads are now $6.55 per lead. Facebook is it's an auction. So if you are targeting a specific audience and another company is trying to target that exact same audience, you're essentially fighting for that ad space and to get into that person's newsfeed or to be in their in-stream video. And now, since so many people are drawing out, it's a lot cheaper in the auction. And so your company has the ability to get in front of your target audience for much cheaper. And we're going to dive into how you can get in front of your audience, who your audience might be, and a couple of strategies that we're using right now for our clients, including this one that you see here. We'll go into a little bit more depth all today. So again, thank you for joining me and our team. Oh, I have one more thing for you too. Video views before we go into the next thing here. This is an ad that we are running for post engagement. And Facebook counts a video post engagement as someone who watches at least 3 seconds of the video. They like it, they comment, they share the video, whatever it may be when you're running an ad for post engagement. You can see here, this is a real screenshot from an ad that we are running for a client right now. It is costing us 1/2 cent per post engagement. So whether you have a budget of $5 or $500, this is a great time to be on Facebook. I am going to pass things off to marketing person at Ugly Mug Marketing, or better known as our founder and owner, Mr. Wayne Mullins.
Thanks, Hannah. And I don't know why you threw the Mr. in there. That's makes me feel old and awkward. But thank you for that intro. So we got quite a few people joining us on Facebook right now. Just want to say hi. Joe's on here. Katrina's on here. Carolina, Glenn. So hi to everybody who joined us live. There's more of you on here. I see some of you on here. We will be monitoring comments throughout the entire live today. And we will, as Hannah said, answer questions at the end of this. However, we may try to jump in and answer a few questions in the midst of our presentations as we're going through this. Today, what we want to start with is talking about what is the difference between marketing and advertising. And what we found over the years is that most people, most entrepreneurs, most business owners confuse the two. And they use those terms, marketing and advertising, interchangeably. And they're not. You see, advertising is actually one small piece or one small component of marketing. So on this next one, this next slide here, and Hannah's controlling our slides for us today, is what exactly is marketing? The way that we like to define marketing is simply this. Marketing is your ability to attract and to keep a customer. Now, when you think about advertising, advertising is often just about the attraction side, right? It's just about going out there and attracting new customers. But what most entrepreneurs, most business owners fail to think about is what are some things that you can do to keep your customers, and not just keep your customers, but actually take those customers and turn them into what we would call evangelists. That is someone who loves you, your product, your service, whatever it is that you offer, so much so that they're willing to go out and spread that and tell others about you, your company, your products and services. Now, before we dive into a lot of this presentation today, which we've got a lot of great content, and we're going to get into a lot of specifics, a lot of tactics, I think it's important to talk about the difference between a tactic and a strategy. You see, a strategy is like the overarching plan of action. What is it that you're aiming for? What are the strategic objectives that you're going after? And here's the thing that we know. Strategy without tactics will lead to paralysis by analysis. So in other words, if all you do is sit around and come up with strategies without actually implementing those strategies, you're just going to sit around constantly and dream up these plans of action, these wonderful things that you want to accomplish. But the flip side of that is tactics without strategy leads to magic bullet mentality. And what do we mean by that? We simply mean this, that when all you do is jump from tactic to tactic without an overarching or a big strategy that's already in place, what you're going to do is you're going to jump on the next bandwagon. So whatever that thing may be, so the new social media platform that's getting all the attention, you're going to quickly go jump on that and try to figure that thing out without a strategy. And we're all guilty of this. I'm guilty of this. We look around and we see what our competitors are doing. And then we think, if they are all flocking to this new thing, that must be the thing to do. And instead, we need to give some thought to how does this particular new thing, how does it tie into our strategy, or does it not tie into our strategy? And here's what we've learned over the years, specifically as it relates to social media marketing. On the next slide, Hannah, if you would. This is the strategy that most people take. And it's simply this. They go to Facebook and they set up this, what we say, fancy pants Facebook ad, and then they pray that people actually buy their stuff. So they don't give much time, attention, and thought to their actual strategy. What is it that we're trying to accomplish? What is it that we're trying to achieve? other than to get people to buy our stuff. That's the end result. So what I want to do next is I want to give you the actual strategy that you should be following. This will apply to any marketing that you do, but very specifically, it works really, really well when you apply this to Facebook marketing. So step number one is you have to get clear about what the challenge is that you are currently facing. So right now, that may be very directly related to what's going on in the world with COVID-19, right? That may have directly impacted your business in a negative way. So that is the challenge that you're trying to overcome. The next step in the strategy is this: you have to take inventory of the assets that you have available. So if the challenge is you want to grow your business by 100 times this year, right? 100 times increase, which is a crazy number. That's the challenge you're trying to overcome. But yet you only have $100 ad budget per month. That's probably not going to be a challenge that you're going to overcome. So what we want to do is we want to use our assets, the things that we have at our disposal, and we want to take inventory of those things, because those assets are the things that we want to leverage, right? We want to leverage those things so that we can get results from our campaigns. And then the next thing we want to look at would be the outcomes. What are these specific outcomes that we are after? And when I say specific, I often say that people put too much pressure on single Facebook ads. And what do I mean by that? I simply mean this, that we go, just like in that previous slide, we put up a Facebook ad and we pray that people come buy our stuff. And then when it doesn't happen, we start thinking, well, Facebook marketing or Instagram marketing, whatever it may be, doesn't work. But the problem is we have put too much responsibility. We have hinged our entire success on one ad or one campaign. And so we have to get clear about what are the specific outcomes that we need when we sit down to do any form of marketing, but specifically Facebook marketing. The next step, once you have identified the outcomes that you're after, is you have to get clear about the reasons. And I'm going to talk about this in just a second. I'm going to come back to the reasons. This is the most important part of the strategy. And unfortunately, it's the part that most people just overlook. They bypass this very quickly. If you do nothing else from this entire call today, but you walk away with what I'm going to share with you about reasons in just a second, it will completely transform and completely change the results you're getting from your marketing. And for those of you who watched the interview I did yesterday with Terrence Hughes, that's exactly what he was talking about when he changed the messaging and he changed the copy, he changed the audiences that he was targeting. He aligned himself with the reasons, the things taking place right now in the marketplace. And then the next step in the strategy is, at that point, once we've taken those first 4 steps, then and only then do we actually go set up the campaign, develop the campaign that we're trying to run or the ad that we're trying to run. And then we believe that you should always monitor your campaigns. You want to make sure that what you set up is performing the way you expect it to perform, so that you can turn off things that aren't working well, right? Because when you do your marketing, specifically your social media marketing well, it should produce a positive ROI. But if you're not monitoring your campaigns, you will not know if it's actually producing that for you. Good, Hannah, go ahead and go over to the next. So what I would encourage you to do is take out a sheet of paper or take a picture of this on your phone and come back and do this exercise a little bit later. But get clear about the challenges that you are currently facing. Write them out. Don't just say sales are down, or don't just say, we need to hire new people. Be very, very specific. So sales are down 23%, or we need to hire 2 new people, one in this area and one in this area. And then what I want you to do is jump over to the right-hand side. What is the ideal outcome if you were to overcome that challenge? What is the specific ideal outcome that you're after? And then what I want you to do is come back to the middle, to the gap. And I want you to write in what needs to happen to bring you from where you currently are, the current challenge that you're facing, to that ideal outcome. So this would be very specific steps that you can take, that you should take. So if sales are down, step 1 would be to make sure you're aligning yourself with the market and the things that are taking place in the market right now. Step 2 may be to analyze all the campaigns that you have currently up and running. Step 3 would then be to maybe go back and create new ads, new campaigns based on current reality and based on the challenge. So take time. I would encourage you to do that. Yes, it's work, but it will pay huge dividends with the results that you get from your campaigns. And then when we talk about assets, oftentimes we're working with entrepreneurs who oftentimes are just getting started. They don't have huge budgets. And so they are challenged by, what are the assets that I actually have? What are the things that I can actually leverage? And here's some, I'm not going to read through all these, but each of these things listed are assets that when used correctly and when done correctly, you can leverage these things. You can utilize all of these things in unison so that your ads are much more effective, the campaigns are much more effective, and they all tie into your overarching strategy that we talked about earlier, the difference between strategy and tactics. And on the next slide here, we're going to talk about reasons. So there are two important things when it comes to reasons. And again, I said this earlier, if you take nothing else out of this entire presentation, which I hope you take a lot more than just this, but if you take nothing else out of this, but this one thing, when it comes to creating any form of marketing, any form of advertising, you have to ask yourself these two questions. What can I do? What can I say? What can I show that will get my prospective audience to stop and actually pay attention to my ad, to me, to the business, to the product, to the service that we're offering? What can I do to get them to stop and pay attention? And then the next part of that is, why should they actually care? Why should they care about what it is that you're saying and trying to communicate to them? So step one is you have to get them to stop and pay attention. But then step two is you have to answer the question, why should they care, right? I know why you care. You probably know why I care, because it's our business, it's our baby, it's our product, it's our service, it's our thing. So we care about it, right? We think it's the best thing ever. But why should they care? In the midst of all the confusion in the marketplace, in the midst of everything going on with COVID-19 and the challenging situations that people find themselves in, why should they care about what it is that you are saying or that you're offering to them? So I'm going to turn this over to Lydia. Lydia is our social media marketing coordinator. Lydia works with clients all over the United States right now, helping them build out their Facebook and their social media campaigns. And she is going to start walking through some very specific tactical things that you can and you should be doing right now in the midst of everything taking place in our world. And again, leave a comment for those just tuning in. Leave a comment, though. Everyone who leaves a comment or a question below this video during this presentation is going to get access to our $497 course. It's a 6-week Facebook course. You will get complimentary access to the entire course. The way you get that is you simply leave a comment down below. Later on today, we will message you on Facebook with the information on how to go get that. There's no upsell, there's no cross sell, there's nothing. It's our way of just saying thank you so much for being here. Thank you for participating and joining us today. And one last thing for all of you watching right now on Facebook, if you could click on the share button and it will give you the option to start a watch party. I would ask you please to start a watch party so that your friends on Facebook can actually see what's going on right now. Maybe we can offer some ideas and suggestions that actually help them and the challenges they're facing right now with their marketing. So all that to say, Lydia is up next. She's going to share some very important, very valuable insights with you. So I hope that you'll take notes and pay attention. Over to you, Lydia.
Awesome. Thanks, Wayne. So like Wayne said, we are going to jump into some really actionable steps and strategies and tactics to implement on your Facebook page for your business. So the first thing we're going to talk about is your message. So what should we be saying right now on our social media? And the first concept that I want to go over is actually, I want to try to tie it into that last point that Wayne was just making, looking at why your audience should care about what you're promoting. So obviously there are things going on in the world right now that a lot of us are in situations that look very similar to everyone else. So a lot of us are working from home or working maybe still at the office, but with far less social interaction. There's lots of commonalities, I think, in the current situation we're in. And so we want to look at what your target audience looks like. And we want to say, what's going on in their heads? What are they thinking about? What are the challenges that they're facing? And how can we bridge the gap and overcome those challenges for them? So Hannah, you can jump to the next slide. So we have a handful of actual things that we changed for our clients, kind of right around the beginning of this stay-at-home order that was implemented here in Louisiana. So many of our clients were affected. So right here off the bat, this first example, this is Bella Grace Paper and Gifts. They are a stationery boutique, gift boutique, and the majority of their target audience is mothers, young mothers, mothers with young kids, many stay-at-home moms, honestly. Excuse me. So when this was all starting to go down, people were working from home, staying home a lot more. Many of these people are at home with their kids. And that was something that we realized was probably a challenge for those people. So this is a way that we pivoted that strategy. And I'm sure you've read it by now, but telling them to comment below how old their children are, and that we would get back to them and suggest some games that they can actually purchase from Bella Grace and get shipped to them for free. So that was just something that we knew was going on in this audience's brain. We were entering that conversation. And again, they also serve a ton of brides. They do wedding invitation suites. That's a big part of their business. So I'm sure many of you out there probably know some people who were planning to get married during this time, and there are tons of different ways that people are adjusting the way that looks. But Bella Grace, we were thinking, how can we help those people? Obviously, that's a challenge that we want to overcome in some way. So offering free virtual consultations to obviously hinder a lot of that face-to-face contact, but still be able to reach their audience in an effective way. The next one, I'm sure many of you locals in Central Louisiana know Wildwood Pizza. The restaurant industry is definitely taking a really big hit right now. But right off the bat, we knew that there were certain steps that could be taken to make sure that Wildwood could still serve their customers. So this ad here, you can't see all of the text on it, but it outlined the 3 ways that customers can still get their Wildwood pizza. The next one, so yes, this one is Watkins Group. This is one of my clients, Wesley over at Watkins Group. We were doing some calling, chatting back and forth, thinking of ways that we could pivot the strategy when this all kind of first hit. And he had some really big group benefit renewals coming up with his really big group clientele. And so he had businesses that had over 100 employees that all had to renew their employee benefits. And he was trying to think of ways to advertise to them and sort of reassure them that this is still going to be okay. We can still do this online, all of those kinds of things. And we even helped him kind of implement some ways to have those meetings virtually as well, which is not in this ad copy, but that's what we did there. The last example we have, this was actually posted by the client here from Vibe Co-working Space, Katrina. Again, obviously a co-working space is dramatically affected by COVID-19. So we really loved how Katrina has been taking this situation, and she is sharing tips and tricks of working from home. You can see in this ad right here, she's talking about some fails that she had that day, but we all had those fails and we all had certain wins. And so engaging your audience and talking about the things that you know are already going on in their head, that's a big portion of this. So up next, we're going to jump into the media. So talking about Facebook and Instagram, what can we be sharing there? So a really common question that we get from new clients or prospects a lot of times is, how often should I be posting on my Facebook page? I don't think there's a really clear, perfect answer for that. It's kind of, it can be different for every industry. It's different for every single page. But what we like to say is that consistency creates miracles. So whether you're only going to be posting once a week or once or twice a week on your Facebook page, or if you're posting every single day, multiple times a day, find something that is within reason, something that you can do and be consistent with. So we have this handy little chart. This is really just something to get your ideas flowing. This is not us saying you have to be doing this and this is the only way it will work. This is just some ideas for you. But if you would like to use this as a template, you can see we have it split by each day of the week and what you could be posting on those days. So we're going to go over some examples. So for Monday, engagement or question, a really cool tool I think that Facebook has to utilize is the poll feature. So I've talked about this a handful of times, I believe, on our Facebook page, on the Ugly Mug page, but we have been doing this Doctor of the Year Facebook poll series for Freeman Clinic. It's a local clinic here in Alexandria. We started it at the beginning of the year in January. And so every month we run this poll and we have their followers vote for their favorite doctor of the two. So this has been amazing for their engagement. So many people, they see the post and they comment, like, oh, I love my doctor, Dr. Foreman or something like that. You can see this one got almost 700 votes. And then over on the right side, you'll see Hannah did this ad for Glaston, etc. A really classic, I don't want to say argument, but a really classic thing in the minds of people who love trucks. So Chevy versus Ford. Both of those got really great engagement. So just engaging your audience. The next is providing content or education for your audience. That's a really big thing that we try to practice a lot. So for O&A Landscaping, they're a landscaping company actually located in Washington State. But this ad here was just providing some expertise on how to care and maintain your plants in your landscape. So providing that for their audience. And then for this heating and cooling company, Den Air Conditioning, just kind of making it a little bit more of engaging content. Do you know how often you should change your air filter? Or what if you have pets? Does that change it? That did perform really well. Then we have the next idea. So this is kind of behind the scenes content. So taking people, behind the surface level of, this is what we sell or this is what we do, but taking them into your day-to-day. So for this example, Graywalk Farms was a part of the 2019 farmer training program from Fresh Central's thing in 2019. So they had some farmers come and tour their facilities. So posting, a little behind the scenes of that day, that was really fun. And then Timeless Medical Spa. This is a video actually. So it's a behind the scenes of them actually performing this specific service that they provide, cool sculpting. It's a little bit of a tongue twister. And then I believe there might be one more. Yes. So this is a really big one. This is something that we like to preach a lot to our clients, the importance of highlighting your team members. So doing a Meet the Team series. So over on the left, if you follow Little Cakes on Facebook, you've probably seen a handful of these from their team, but there's so many benefits to doing this. And I could probably talk about this for 10 or 15 minutes just by itself, but I will say one of the amazing things about doing this is providing social proof to your prospects or people who might be searching for a new dentist, and they come across this, or maybe their friend shares it and they see all of this amazing engagement. and they inherently trust what those people are commenting and saying so much more than anything you could ever post or advertise just about yourself or your business. So highlighting your people that everyone loves, and making sure that the world gets to know just how much everyone else loves them. All right, so that's my Facebook spiel. We are going to jump into Instagram. So one really, really important thing to know and remember about Instagram, I believe it's on the next slide, but Instagram is all about appearance. I lied, it's coming up. But another important thing is, if you have not started an Instagram page for your business and you are wanting to, or you already have an Instagram page, but it is not a business account, we highly recommend you switch it over. I'm not going to go through every single step in this process. You can take a picture of this, or if you still need these details after we go past this slide, just let us know, give us a comment, we'll send it over to you. But there's lots of great insights when you have a business account that are super important to know. But like I said before, Instagram is all about appearance. And so it's super important that you can find a cohesive look for your Instagram page that makes it recognizable in someone's feed. So an example that sometimes I like to give to some of my clients is that I follow Target on Instagram. I love going to Target. But anytime I'm scrolling and I see a photo from Target, I know it's from Target just because of the consistency and the colors they use. Obviously, they have a lot of red, but it's just a very cohesive look. And so before I ever even see the username, I know who it's from. So these are just some screenshot examples, again, from Bella Grace, their Instagram account. Many of these photos are actually from a shoot done by a local photographer, Nikki Bardwell. We love Nikki, but just to reassure you, I want to say that you do not need a professional photographer to have a successful Instagram account at all. You know, even something as simple as using one or two of the same filters, maybe even Instagram filters, the ones that they provide, or downloading apps that have different filters as well. Just making sure that you have that cohesive look and feel and vibe. That's a super important thing as well. This next example, this is a Instagram story ad that we ran for Little Cakes, that we were targeting to students and teachers to come and bring in their school ID and get a free cookie if they spent $5. One thing I want to note about this ad is that when I was creating this, I had kind of a handful of ideas of what I thought it could look like, but I was thinking and kind of reflecting on the way that I personally scroll through my Instagram stories. And my brain has just kind of picked up on the algorithms, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but I kind of know how often I'm going to see an ad in my Instagram stories. And if it doesn't look interesting, or if it looks super stylized or super professionally made, I just kind of skip through it. It's not the authentic, organic content that I'm really looking for when I'm looking through my Instagram stories. So when I was making this, I wanted to make sure that I actually created this in the Instagram app using the fonts and the different elements and tools that Instagram gives us, so that when someone's scrolling and they might see this ad, it really does look just like something that Little Cakes would just be posting. It doesn't scream like, oh, this is an advertisement or something. So it's definitely engaging the audience a little bit more that way. That's just a little tip. So just another way to remember this for Instagram is that your image is your headline. It's the first thing that people are seeing, and probably the most important. So another aspect of your business profile that is super important is your bio. So there are tons of different things that you could include in your bio on Instagram, but this is kind of an example of what a bio looked like for Bella Grace Paper before we kind of adjusted a little bit. I don't want to say that this is a bad bio. I really don't think it is. One thing that we just wanted to change was we wanted to give it a cleaner, cohesive look. I think the information's great. You know, it tells people what they do. They do invitations, stationary gifts, their hours, their phone number, their website. But Hannah, if you go to the next one, you'll see we just kind of cleaned it up a little bit, made it a little more streamlined, and, you know, didn't have those different fonts or things like that. We had that simplified clickable link as well. Trying to think. Okay, so now we're going to talk about, this is another thing that kind of seems a little bit taboo in the Instagram world, is how do we get followers? And this is something that's definitely, it's going to be impacted by your industry and what service or product that you are advertising. But all of these tactics here, not going to read them all, but doing things like telling people on your other social media pages about your Instagram page, making sure it's linkable and linked out on your website, and following other people. That's a big thing. The next slide. So the way that you can find those other people to follow, if you go to discover people, Instagram gives you a really long list of relevant people that you can follow, and then making sure that you're actually engaging with those people. You're not just following them and then leaving them to the wayside and they forget about you forever. So making sure you're engaging with those people as well. So those strategies that were listed on the slide before, we implemented that for Bella Grace paper. And that actually, if you go back a little bit, Hannah, so you can see we jumped, trying to do mental math. Yeah, we jumped just over 700 followers for them. And I believe that was in the span of 6 or 7 months. So that's just kind of what happened for them. But when we started this with Little Cakes, unfortunately, we don't have the screenshots. When we started that process of trying to gain followers with Little Cakes, I believe that they had double that amount. I think we gained them around 1,500 or 2,000 followers in half that time. So like I said, it's kind of just really dependent on your industry, how niche your market might be, all of those things, but we recommend those strategies and tactics for gaining your follower base on Instagram. So that's all of my content. I am going to throw this back to Hannah Acosta, and she is going to run through some of our favorite campaigns, lead generation.
Yeah, thanks, Lydia. There's a lot of good information for Facebook and for Instagram. Before I dive into lead generation, I just want to acknowledge Joe, Patricia, Katrina. We see your questions here. Especially Joe and Patricia, that's a bigger question. And Katrina, I could definitely dive into that. We will do that after we run through lead generation in our next section. So just know that we see you and we will get to you here at the end of the presentation. All right, so lead generation. This is my absolute favorite campaign to run. And I think the reason that I love it so much is the instant gratification that you can get from it once you find the campaigns that are working for you. Lead generation is essentially a tool through Facebook that allows you to run an ad to your target audience. It looks beautiful, you have your graphic, you have your right copy, and then you can add a button, and that button can say subscribe, sign up, learn more, and book now, and a variety of different things. When they click on that button, a form will then appear that is created by Facebook, and you can go in there and you can adjust some of the things, the questions that it may ask your target audience. You can adjust the photo, the description, all of that great stuff. But the really, really cool part is this. You can get that information directly from your customer while they're on the Facebook platform. You don't have to direct them to go somewhere else, to go to a landing page, to go to your website or anything like that. And Facebook likes that. They want you to keep people on their platform. And so what we have found is when we're running a campaign and we're running it for lead generation, meaning we're trying to collect that customer's information, we have greater success when we are running that as a lead generation ad, as opposed to running it as an ad targeting people and trying to push them to your website to fill out your contact form. I'm not saying that that doesn't work. I'm just saying in our experience that this has been the route that's been the most cost effective. And a couple different things that you can do with lead generation is this: grow your email list. This is so important. If your business is solely relying on Facebook and Instagram and the followers that you've built there, I want to tell you this. It's not a bad thing that you're focusing solely on social media. But if in the event that Facebook disappeared tomorrow or your Instagram account was gone and you have 10,000 followers or even 500 followers, how would you be able to communicate with your customers? And that is where your email list comes into play. You can own your email list. You don't really necessarily own your Facebook page. So I want to show you a way that we worked with Little Cakes, one of our clients that we've mentioned several times here. We love Bridget and Robin and love working with them. And this actually came into play later after our relationship was built with them. They decided to become a full-blown marketing client, meaning that we include all kinds of other things in their marketing package outside of social media. And one of them that we decided to focus on was email. So how does this work? I'm gonna nerd out, so sorry if I talk too fast here. This is a screenshot of behind the scenes in Ads Manager. So over here on the left-hand side, you can see we have the text. It says, do you love Little Cakes? Then you will love our monthly newsletter. You'll receive exclusive offers, behind the scenes fun, and a free cupcake on your birthday. We know that their audience loves their cupcakes. They love going to Little Cakes. So getting a free cupcake is a good incentive for them to sign up for the newsletter. And then when it just says, you'll get lots more sweet updates, sign up today. And then they'll also get a coupon for 15% off their next purchase. So that is what we have for the headline. So over here on the right-hand side, you can see we've selected an image of Bridget and Robin. What we have learned over time is that when we put their faces, which we don't do often because we're always highlighting cupcakes and cookies and cakes and all kinds of other delicious things that they make at Little Cakes, but when we put their faces, we know that the ad is going to have phenomenal success. And we've just learned that over time. And so I would challenge you, as a side note, I would challenge you to go back in your insights on your Facebook page and look and see which of your ads are top performing. I would be willing to bet that it's something that has a person's face in it. People love to see other people. And maybe for your business, it's not. Maybe it's a photo of your product, but I would challenge you to go back and look and see what performs the best and try to find and build more content that is along those same lines or with that same look and feel. And you will have greater success, I'm sure, in the future. All right, so jumping back to this ad. So you can see here it says sign up for a monthly newsletter, get that 15% off, and then it has that sign up button. So when somebody clicks on sign up, here is a series of screenshots of what they're going to see. The first thing is this. It's going to say, join our monthly newsletter. You're going to get those behind the scenes fun. You're going to get access to all kinds of other special exclusive offers. Sign up by providing your information below. So what we ask for on their form is first name, last name, their email address, and then your birthday, because we tie this directly to their MailChimp account and we can send people an exclusive offer on their birthday. And I'll jump into that in just a second. The next form that they're going to see here is the privacy policy. So we link that directly to the Little Cakes page so that people know that their information is going to be protected and going to be cared for, that we're not going to share that with anyone else other than the Little Cakes team. And then the last thing is the thank you page. So it says, we can't wait to fill your inbox with something sweet. Your info has been sent to us. And then there's a link where someone can click and go to their website if they would like. Here are the results. So we ran this starting last July, and we continued it. We've run it almost every single month since then in some capacity. Some months we've given it far more ad spend if we've had the ability to do that with their budget, just depending on what other things are priority that month. But here are the results. 322 new people added to their email list. We reached over 6,600 people, and impressions, 61,064. Impressions are the total amount of times that the ad was seen overall over the course of that time. And here's the really awesome part. At 67 cents per lead. So those 322 people multiply 67 by 67 cents a lead, and that was our total ad spend that it took us to acquire those new people on their email list. Over on the right-hand side, you'll also see, and for some of our examples, this is there or isn't there, because as many of you know, Facebook is always changing, always adding something new, always working to improve or sometimes make things more complicated for those of us who are advertising on their platform. There's a quality ranking. So it'll tell you how ad relevance. How relevant is your ad to the people who you are serving it to? In this instance, we were specifically targeting people who already interact with Little Cake's page, people who already like their page, and people who are friends of people who like the Little Cake's page. So we knew that this was going to be relevant content for them because we know they're already interested in our brand. The next one is engagement rate ranking. Are people actually clicking learn more? Are they clicking sign up? Are they clicking to share, to comment? Are they liking the post? And then the last one is conversion ranking. So if someone is clicking on that sign up button, are they actually converting into someone who's filling out the form and completing the form? Or are they clicking on it and then Xing out? So a couple other quick examples that I'll run through. Exact same concept. Trying to give someone an incentive to join and grow that email list. And this example is for Wildwood Pizza and their Baton Rouge location. Wildwood calls their email list and all of their customers their Wildwood tribe. So join our tribe, subscribe to join our email list, and you'll receive buy one, get one free pizza or salad, which is a awesome offer that someone, if you love Wildwood Pizza, you absolutely could not turn that down. We'll get them the exclusive information on what the monthly specials are going to be and other promotions. And so here again, you can see we have the sign up button. And then this was another one that we ran for Alexandria. The offer was slightly different. We were offering a coupon for half off any salad. And then for this one, for Baton Rouge, this was another test that we ran. This one was a little bit different. So in addition to the buy one, get one free pizza and or salad offer, they were also going to be entered for a chance to win a $100 Wildwood Pizza gift card. So we ran this one for about 2 weeks and then announced the winner both on Facebook and through their email list. And then did the same exact thing in Alexandria too, just raffling off or giving away that $100 gift card. Here are the results from those. 829 new people total between Alexandria and Baton Rouge added to their email list at 85 cents per lead. So if you multiply those together, again, that will get you the total amount that we spent specifically on this campaign. And some of these we ran again over multiple months. The giveaway, obviously, we were a little more strategic over when we ran those campaigns, but it was a huge success because Wildwood started from ground zero. Little Cakes, when we started their campaigns, they had about 250 people. Now I think they are at about 2,500 people on their email list total. And then Baton Rouge and Wildwood Baton Rouge, and Wildwood Alexandria, when we started their MailChimp account and their email list, they had no one. And so this was a huge win for us at that time. And again, you don't have to pick and choose when you run this campaign. You can run it with just $50 behind it for a month. Maybe you skip a month and you come back to it. Whenever you see fit, I would highly recommend running an email list campaign. I'm going to dive into ZAPIER, which is a really awesome tool. So if you want to write that down, I think it's actually called ZAPIER, Z-A-P-I-E-R, but I call it ZAPIER, and so does everyone else in our office, so just hang in there with me. The next example that I'm going to use for lead generation ads is this. So not only can you grow your email list, but you can generate true leads that can instantly become a customer if your sales team is working their magic. So here's our example. We work with a variety of different heating and air conditioning companies across the country. And this one in particular, Surgees, is located in Kenner, Louisiana, so just outside of New Orleans. And something that they consistently offer every month is their $69 tune-up. And this really takes off in between seasons. So, you know, if we're heading into wintertime, it's going to be a furnace tune-up. If we're heading into the summer months, like those of y'all who are tuning in from Louisiana, you know it's about to get super hot here. And so getting your air conditioning unit tuned up is a must. And so we like to offer this exclusive offer and try to get people in their sales funnel, if you will. So if somebody signs up, has never been a client or a customer of Surgees, they get this tune-up. If they need a new system later on, it is likely that they will think of Surgees, especially if they had a really remarkable and memorable experience with the team, and they had a positive experience. So this tune-up has some longer copy. Basically, we just say, hey, we're giving this away to 50 Greater New Orleans homeowners. Here's how much it's worth. Here's how much we're going to be letting you get this tune-up for. And here's everything that's going to be included. You know, we're going to clean the coils, we're going to add Freon, we're going to, you know, all of these things that go into servicing your air conditioning unit or your furnace. You're going to get all of that for just $69. So the button down here says get offer. And here's an example of what that longer copy looks like. Just to quickly touch on that, we tested multiple versions of this before we figured out that this was going to be what resonated the most with their customers. And that's a really important thing to note. We also did that with Wildwood. We also did that with Little Cakes. The first thing that you try is not going to be the winner. You will have to try different forms of copy, different forms of your graphic. And Wayne even mentioned that too earlier when he was talking with Terrence Hughes yesterday. You know, that's something that they had to pivot and adjust during this time. So this copy, though it is still working, if there was a chance that right now during COVID it would not work, we certainly would pivot and change that until we figured out what was going to resonate and what conversation we could enter in the minds of our customers. So here's an example of what that form looks like. So the first slide over here on the far left, you can see we're asking for their full name. We ask for their email. So you can see the full form on the far right-hand side now. We ask for their full name, their email, their phone number, and then their zip code. Because one thing that we're trying to track on our end too is there a zip code? Is there a certain area that we are being more successful in? We want to see if there's a trend with that. So far for them, I don't believe we've seen any major trend that would lead us to believe we shouldn't be targeting in one area versus the other. But if you are a company that is reaching, you know, nationwide or in some larger markets, you know, across just major cities, let's say you're targeting Dallas, New Orleans, Chicago, New York, LA, that would definitely be something that you would want to include on these lead forms, is maybe what state, what city, or zip code, so that you could track and see where those potential customers are coming from. The slide in the middle is the privacy policy. I already touched on that. Just want to let people know we're taking care of the information that they're willing to share with us. So this is a screenshot of results that we had for the month of February for Surgees. We had 24 leads come in, and it was at $8.31 a lead, which still left them a very good return on their investment for acquiring and booking those new customers. You can see too, for quality ranking, engagement ranking, and the conversion ranking, those were all listed at average or above average, which is really where we want to keep things. If it says below average in one of those categories, you have to pay attention which one it is. If it's conversion ranking and then it says below average, definitely want to revisit that, because you want something that is going to actually convert those customers and get them to actually fill out your form, join your newsletter, become a customer, whatever it may be that you're trying to achieve. So I talked about ZAPIER, whichever you want to call it. We actually really love this tool, and we take advantage of it in a variety of different ways in our office. ZAPIER is an automation tool. So essentially you say, all right, I want to connect this to this, and I want to remove myself from having to manually, in this example, take my leads from Facebook and then go and upload them into my email list on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a monthly basis, or in the example of just generating leads, I don't want to have to go into Facebook every single day and see if anyone's filled out this form for a $69 tune-up. I want those to automatically come to me. And that's what we've set up ZAPIER to do. So in this example, this is for Surgeys. This is, again, their $69 tune-up. This is a screenshot of what ZAPIER looks like. It is incredibly user-friendly. I know last time we did our social media summit, we had several people comment how much they love ZAPIER too. This tool allows us to connect our Facebook leads. So we select, all right, we want to connect Facebook lead ads. And every time we get a new lead, that's going to be the trigger event. So that's what's going to be the thing that starts the automation. We select the page, we select the lead form that we want to connect it to. And then what we do for Surgeys is this. We are not the ones who are calling and following up with their customers to schedule their $69 tune-up or answer any questions that they have. It's obviously the Surgeys team. So we needed to find the best way to get that information to their team. And it was this. Connect the lead forms to Gmail. So we select Gmail, send an email, we insert all the email addresses of the people that the message needs to go to. And then we have the subject line. It says new lead, $69 tune-up. So they realize that this is urgent, that they need to open this email. And then it says this, hey, Surgeys, heating and air conditioning team, you have a new Facebook lead. Here's their full name, here's their phone number, here's their email, and here's their zip code. Thanks so much. If they ever have any troubles, if something doesn't work, they let me know and I can manually go in and see that on the back end of Facebook, but we've never really had any issues with this. And all of that information directly pulls from Facebook and goes directly to their inbox. And you can set this up for your team too. Just a simple alert. It doesn't have to be a formal email, but it can just say phone number, their full name, their email, and their zip code or whatever information you are asking. Then another step that you can add to this too, and this is one that we are actually using for Central Louisiana Technical Community College. We're running lead ads right now for them to try and get people registered for their adult education program, but then also for their nursing program and a few other programs that they have through the college. So what we have is anytime someone fills out that lead form, we have it go into a Google spreadsheet, and then their team is able to follow up with every single person who has filled out that form via email, phone call, or whatever it may be. So as you can see here, we have that connected to that Google spreadsheet, and each of the rows align with the question that we're asking on that lead form. So first name, last name, email, phone number, date of birth, and the parish that that person lives in. Now, in this example, this is how we were tying the Facebook lead ads to MailChimp. You can also do this with Constant Contact and a variety of other email marketing platforms. ZAPIER, on their website, if you go there, even if you're not a member, you can even just type in, I want to connect Facebook to this, whatever it may be, and they will tell you if that's possible. But in this example of emails, we're going to use MailChimp. So again, we just connected their MailChimp account here. The action that we wanted ZAPIER to take anytime a new lead came in was adding a subscriber to their list. we specified what specific audience that we wanted this to go into. Several people have their lists segmented. For the purpose of Wildwood, it's because they have multiple locations, but there may even be an instance where you want to segment your email list and say, all right, people who have only come from Facebook, maybe people who have come from your website, and so on. So you can see here down below, it says subscriber email and has all those same fields and information that we've already gone over before. But this tool is so useful. I cannot recommend it enough. Their customer service is also phenomenal. I'm not getting paid to say any of this. This is not an ad. We just really love ZAPIER in our office. All right, I see a couple questions coming in here. Joe's asking, were the Wildwood Pizza ads you showed recent ads? So those ads, we actually, Joe, we created those a few months back, actually, probably a while ago, actually. I believe it was in the month of July, but we have consistently run those since. We aren't currently running anything for email for them at this very moment, but I know for a fact we ran those in December and January of this month. Same copy, same graphic. We really try. Some people could perceive this as being lazy, but if something is working, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single month. If there is an ad that is being fruitful, in this instance, if it's getting leads and people onto your email list at a really good cost per lead, keep running it. It's okay if you need to change your copy a little bit to make it more relevant. Maybe you said in the month of June, maybe you just remove the month altogether in the ad and let it continue running. So to answer your question, yes, we've run this fairly recently, as early as January, not in these last couple months, but one thing that we know to be true is that those ad costs per lead, they're dropping significantly. So I bet if we started running that ad for them right now, it would be dropping even more. I think we're at 85 cents in that example. I am certain that it would be even cheaper cost per lead during this time. So that's a really great question. And then the Surgeys heating and air conditioning ad, I see, Joe, you also asked a question about that. That is something that we are currently running right now. We just update it and say that it expires at the end of whatever the following month is. So that is something that we are running at this very moment for multiple heating and air conditioning locations. So great questions. I'm going to jump into call tracking now. So this is another type of ad that we have been running for our clients, and we are seeing really great results. One thing that we don't have in here, I'm just gonna write a note. I start jumping around too much. I'm gonna write a note to myself to talk about call tracking ads with Wildwood Pizza. But in this example, I'm actually going to be using McBride Law Firm. So McBride Law Firm is a bankruptcy attorney here in Alexandria, Louisiana. And we started testing out some click-to-call ads for them in January. We've since had to pivot our strategy a little bit just because there aren't people currently in their office, so we're changing that to lead forms for them. But in this example, this was at a time when we were still able to run their Call Now ads. So this ran in January and February and part of March. These ads are something that you can very easily run directly from your Facebook page. You don't have to go into Ad Manager to create these ads. So we have some very simple copy up here at the top, selected a graphic that we believed would resonate with their target audience. And then it says bankruptcy questions. We've got answers. Call us today to schedule your free consultation. So when somebody clicks on that Call Now button, this is a screenshot of what it would look like on their iPhone. If they have an iPhone, it would look similar on an Android, but in this example, we have an iPhone screenshot. So you see that here. Then they have the option, excuse me, to click that call button. And these are the results. Now, before I jump into the results, the most important part of this is on McBride Law Firm's page and on several pages of our clients who we are running click to call ads for, we have a call tracking number. Why is this important? I could run this click to call ad and all Facebook is going to tell me is how many people clicked on the link. It doesn't actually tell you how many people followed through, had a phone call, made a purchase, or any of that information. So what we use is a tool called CallRail, CALLRAIL, CallRail. It's a pretty affordable, I would say, option for a call tracking number service. And so what we did was we created this call tracking number for McBride Law Firm and used that number on all of their ads on Facebook. And these were the results for the month of January. We had several calls come through in January into February, and I have the contact information blurred out, but what you can see here is you can see, obviously, McBride Law Firm is the tracking number on the far left-hand side. You can see what time they called, the date that they called, how long the call was. You'll be able to see who the person was that called, what their phone number is. And then what you can't see here on this example, because we don't do it for privacy and protection purposes of their clients, is this. You can actually record the calls on CallRail. There will be a little whisper message that plays when somebody dials into your number saying this call may be recorded for quality assurance. And so then the call would be recorded. We do this same campaign actually for Surgeys and several others of our heating and air conditioning clients because we want people to pick up the phone. In the instance of McBride Law Firm, we know that the majority of his people feel more comfortable picking up the phone than filling out a lead form. Lead form is still successful for him, but having this call option and making it trackable and measurable, that is invaluable. We want to know that information. We need to know what's being successful so that we can pivot our strategy. So again, call campaigns are only successful if you have a call tracking number and can actually measure how many people are coming in through that way. One thing I want to touch on too, because I think it's super important, especially for restaurants doing carry out right now. A couple of weeks ago, and I wish I had the screenshots, I can share some of those results with y'all after all of this, is this. We said, okay, Wildwood Pizza and several of our other clients who are in the restaurant industry are being affected. They cannot have people dine in, obviously, in their dining rooms. So people are having to call in, use other tools like DoorDash or Waiter or other third-party delivery services. And so we were like, you know what? We want to make sure that people are calling Wildwood and placing their to-go orders as a result of our ads. So we, for the first time, created a call tracking number for Wildwood Pizza and are running call ads that are running during very specific times. So during those lunch hours and during that dinner hour as well. And I can tell you that the cost per click on those is very cheap. And then when we go into CallRail, I remember the ad had only been running for maybe 2 or 3 days. When I got the alert from CallRail, we already had 40 calls that had gone through with people placing their orders. So I just think that's a really important thing to note, just in light of everything that's happening. This can be a very successful campaign for restaurants who are trying to reach their customers, let them know that they're still open for those carry out and to-go orders. All right, next thing we're going to talk about is Sympathy Prize, and I'm actually going to turn this over to Lydia, and she is going to dive into our Sympathy Prize strategy. And she's actually going to be giving a very, very recent example with our friends at Little Cakes. So Lydia, what you got for us?
All right. So like Hannah said, we are going to jump into the Sympathy Prize, what that is, what it means, how to do it. But real quick, before I dive into that, I just wanted to remind everyone, if you're just recently joining us, you haven't heard us say this so far. If you comment on this live stream and let us know, just ask the question or let us know if you do want this, we will be giving you complimentary access to our 6-week Facebook masterclass course. So that's amazing. And I see that we, excuse me, I see that we've gotten some people on here I just want to thank for commenting. We've got Brittany, Susan, I see Patricia, Rebecca. I actually see a question that I wanted to touch on. I saw it right after I ended my last little segment, but Rebecca Kinder was asking, she said, I'm looking for a way to post on Facebook and Instagram at the same time with scheduled posts. What software or app do you recommend to do that? So actually, within, I want to say, the last month or two, maybe 2 months, Facebook actually released a new tool that you can use on your business page. It's called their Creator Studio. I know that they had released it a while back. They've released it more than 1 or 2 months ago, but they just recently added that feature to schedule Instagram posts on the back end of your Facebook page. So if you go to your business manager view of your page, you go to publishing tools, which is going to be somewhere at the top bar. And then usually, I know it does this for me, it probably does this for you. There's always a little banner at the top. And it just says like you can access all of this information in your publishing tools in your Creator Studio. There's also a little button on the side, the left side, that you can click as well. So if you go there, click that, click Creator Studio, it should pull up a whole new window, and it's a much more modern look. But you can connect, if your Instagram is not connected to your business page, you need to do that, but you can connect your Instagram account there, and you can actually, when you're making an Instagram post through Creator Studio, you can select specific posts that you've already made on your Facebook or that are currently scheduled on your Facebook and cross post there. So we've used that a few times ourselves, super helpful. So that is my #1 recommendation, just because if it's already in Facebook, just go ahead and schedule it there. You don't have to find another third-party site or anything like that. But I'm going to jump into our last little section here before we close up and answer all of these other questions. We're going to talk about our sympathy prize. So as Hannah said, this is a super, super recent example of a giveaway. So that's what the sympathy prize is centered around. It's centered around giveaways that you run on your Facebook page. I'm sure if you are from the Central Louisiana area, I would be surprised just from looking at the numbers and results that we got from all of this. I'd be surprised if you didn't see this. We ran this quarantine survival pack giveaway on the Little Cakes, and we also ran it on the Wildwood Pizza page, but we're going to focus here on the Little Cakes page. We ran this giveaway, and as you can see, there are certain things that people have to do to enter the giveaway, and the winner, each page that ran it, the winner got all of these amazing prizes. But what we want to focus on is there are really essentially, the way that we see it, 2 ways that you can run your giveaways on Facebook. One, you can see here the lazy way. You share all of this content, you get people to share the post or like your page or do anything that you're telling them to do. And then you wait until you choose the winner, and then you just have one winner, and you kind of ignore or forget about all of those other people that enter. So I think I especially was, I don't know if Hannah was that surprised, but I was astonished at how amazing this giveaway did. This campaign really, I think, blew a lot of our giveaways out of the water. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, one, we are entering into the conversation, obviously, that people were having in their heads about quarantine and all of that, but also so many more people are on social media, which I think we've touched on. So I think 2 of those were major things that helped this perform so well. But as you can see, we had over 900 comments. We had 1,000 shares. So what the sympathy prize is yes, you go through your giveaway, you choose however you choose, randomly select or whatever, you choose your winner. The winner gets those prizes that you offered or you said that they would win. But you go in and you personally message every single person that commented or entered into your giveaway on the post as well. I want to clarify this. Yes, my dog is scratching on the door. She's mad at me that I'm not playing with her. But yes, this is very time consuming. This definitely took the longest that since we've done this before. Because we had 900 comments. There were a handful of us on the team that were going in and sending these messages. But what you want to do is you want to offer all of those people who lost, they did not win the giveaway, you want to offer them something that is an exclusive offer that they just get because they entered. You're not sending this to every single person who likes your page. You're just sending this to the people who entered and did not win. But you want to make sure, because obviously you're taking a lot of time and effort to do this. You don't want to, send something that's really not that incentivizing to get them to take action and actually purchase or book or something like that. So in this example, what we did was we offered all of these 900 something people 50% off one item on Little Cake's menu if they went through their drive-through within a certain week. So we also attached, I didn't fit it in the screenshot here because I couldn't get it to fit in my window, but we just attached a little graphic coupon that they could present when they went through the window. And it was actually amazing because the day that we started this, I think it took us 2 or 3 days to go through all of those comments. But within the first day, within a few hours, people that we had sent these messages to went through the drive-thru at Little Cakes and redeemed this coupon. So we were really happy with the way that that worked out. So again, I know this is definitely an investment. You may not get 900 comments, but either way, it does take some effort, but it's worth the effort. You're making that personal connection. You're showing these people that you actually care. One quick thing I just remembered, a quick tip is that Facebook has changed. I don't know when they changed this, but when people comment on your posts, you only have a week to message them from that comment. So if you're running this giveaway and you plan to do the sympathy prize, make sure that you choose a winner within a week, or maybe right at that week of posting it. That way you have ample time to go in and message those people. You don't want to miss anyone. So last, I'm just going to pass this back off to Wayne real quick. He's going to close us out. And then right after that, we are going to dive into all of these amazing questions you guys are leaving us. All right, what you got, Wayne?
Thank you, Lydia. Thanks so much to you and Hannah for sharing all those great tips, strategies. For those of you who complain and are frustrated by lack of results that you get on social media, what we found over the years is that part of that comes from the fact that Facebook is really, really good at delivering likes, shares, and comments anytime you run a campaign. And I personally think they do this intentionally because when we see those likes, shares, and comments, it leads us to believe that we're actually getting good results from the ads and the campaigns and the dollars that we're spending. And the reality is likes, shares, and comments don't put money in your bank account. And so the tools that Hannah talked about, the strategies and tactics that Lydia shared, those are things that will take your campaigns, your strategies from like, shares, and comments into actually getting results. So CallRail, for example, is a great way to know if your ad dollars are actually producing a positive ROI for you. And when Hannah mentioned, we put up that campaign for Wildwood, and within a very short window, they had 40 calls already coming in from that campaign. We know that that campaign was working because one, that number had never been used before for Wildwood. So we knew every single one of those calls coming in was a direct result of that specific Facebook campaign or those campaigns tied to that phone number. So for all of you out there watching this, listening to this, what I would encourage you to do is embrace these tools. Hold your ads and your ad dollars accountable. Don't just throw money out there, set up some campaigns, and then complain that it doesn't work or it's not producing the results that you hoped for, that you wanted. Instead, tweak, test, monitor those campaigns, adjust, and again, I can't say it enough, be sure you're holding your ad dollars accountable. with tools like Zapier or Zapier, however you choose to say it, CallRail, lead generation campaigns, you can see how many results, how much revenue is coming in directly as a result of those ads. So you can see on the slide here, knowing and not doing is the same thing as not knowing. So simply say, we've given you some knowledge, we've given you some tools, we've given you some things that you can go today, literally today, and start using, start implementing. And we're going to leave this video up here on Facebook. So you're able to go back and replay this, watch it at your convenience. You can skip ahead. You can skip all my boring parts and just watch the parts where Hannah and Lydia shared some great content. Go in and actually start setting up these campaigns today. Don't allow this opportunity to pass. Facebook ads are the cheapest. We've seen them in probably 6 years. But if you're just going to keep doing what you've been doing on Facebook, you're just going to reach more people with the same lack of results. So you've got to tweak, you've got to adjust. You know, we're going to dive into questions now. And if you've got a specific question, please go ahead and type that in. So for some of you, you may be running ads right now on Facebook and you want our feedback. We'd be glad to give you feedback even on the copy that you're running on your ad. So leave a comment. We're going to scroll through this and take a look at some of these. One that I saw earlier was regarding MailChimp and getting people to sign up on MailChimp, but it looks like they're saying, it's Brittany saying that it typically goes to junk or spam folder. One of the ways around that, Brittany, would be to use what's called double opt-in. So double opt-in, it's available in pretty much all email providers. And what that does is it enables, when someone opts into your email list, it requires them to confirm. They have to click a link confirming that they want to be a part of your list. And when you do this, it greatly improves the delivery rates, or the deliverable, I don't know how you say that word of your email messages into their inbox. Another thing that you can do is on your thank you page. So after someone signs up for your newsletter or whatever the thing is that you're having them sign up for, on that thank you page, have them, ask them to, on the thank you page, have them add you as a contact in whatever their email service provider is. So if it's Gmail, have them add your address as an actual address in their email service provider.
Yeah, so I tried to scroll back up to the very top, kind of closer to when we started, to find some of the older questions. I see one from Joe, and it just says, for these results, were those video ads or static image ads? I believe that's when Hannah was beginning and was talking about some decreases in our cost per results. I am pretty confident that those were static images. Hannah, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think those were static.
Another question that I see here is, oh, am I on mute? Nope. Okay. Another question I see here is, what is the recommended starting per day budget for a new ad? That is a little bit of a complex question, but also can be very simple in saying it's whatever you feel comfortable with at first. If you've never run ads on Facebook before, it's important to just determine, you know, how much you're willing to spend overall over the course of the month. So that's the first part of it. You know, how much is my total budget going to be over the course of this next 30 days, this next 2 weeks, this week, whatever it may be. The next part of that is looking at what types of campaigns are you looking to run. If you are looking to run a lead generation campaign, that is going to be more expensive than running a campaign for engagement. So that means I'm trying to get the information of those users. I'm trying to get them to my email list through lead generation. That's going to be more expensive than I just want somebody to like, comment, or share or watch my video. Those campaigns are going to be far less expensive than those lead generation campaigns. So it's really about determining your budget overall and what kind of campaign you're looking to run during this time. Like we've said, these These ad cost per lead, cost per engagement, the costs on Facebook have dropped dramatically. Wayne said this, I'll say it again. This is the lowest we've seen these numbers in the last 5 to 6 years for sure. And so even if you have a $50 budget for the entire month, you can still make that go a long ways. You can still test with that budget and figure out which one's going to be the most successful over the course of the month. And then maybe you pick the winning ad from there and run with that one the second month or the second week or whatever it may be.
There's a question here from Steve. Steve was asking about targeting people outside of his home area, and is there a way to do that with the within Ads Manager? And yes, absolutely, Steve, you can do that within Ads Manager. So you can actually exclude certain areas. So let's just say if you were located here in Central Louisiana area, you could exclude this area and advertise everywhere else in the state except for this area. Another thing that we didn't really talk about today, but is a very, very powerful tool when it comes to Facebook marketing and the information that Facebook collects on people, is the ability to create what's called a lookalike audience. So you could, if you have an email list of your customers, or even just a list of your customers, you can go into the back end of Facebook. It's kind of inside of Ads Manager, and you can upload that list. And what Facebook will do is Facebook will go out there and try to find those particular people on Facebook. It will match that email address, that name, whatever information you have to a Facebook profile. And then what it will do is analyze all of that person's information, their likes, their interests, kind of where they travel, where they shop, those types of things. And then what you can do is you can tell Facebook, hey, Facebook, I really like this audience. This is my customer audience. I know that they spend money with me. I want you to go out and find other people just like these people. And it's literally just a few clicks of a button, and Facebook will go out there and find all of those people who share similar interests, similar behaviors. It could be geographic, it could be lots of different things, but Facebook will go find those people for you and then give you the ability to run ads just to those people.
Yeah, for sure. I also see there were a few comments or questions kind of up towards the top asking about actually referencing COVID-19 or coronavirus. So I'm not going to claim to be an expert and know all the answers. I do know I did run an ad for Watkins Group, if you saw it at the beginning. And the actual graphic said, how is COVID-19 affecting my business or something like that. That was approved. It might even still be running currently. I know that one thing, I think we may have actually had a few ads flagged for this before, is Facebook has a policy about sensational copy or imagery or something like that. So I'm not sure all the ways that Facebook deems your messaging sensational or something along those lines, but sometimes it just takes some toying around and changing it up, switching it up. I think I was lucky enough that one for Watkins Group just got approved right from the get-go, but just kind of look at what you're saying, what you're promoting, and look at the actual policy if Facebook will tell you that it says that you're violating, and you may be able to switch it up. Another thing that I've done before is if I have an ad that's disapproved, I can actually go and chat with Facebook support. It's kind of a hit or miss. Sometimes it's really funny because sometimes Hannah never has the option to chat with people, and for whatever reason, I a lot of times have the option. So I chat with Facebook support a lot. They're probably really tired of me, but you can actually submit an ad in the chat that you had that was disapproved and request that they look it over again, because when you submit an ad initially, it's all of these AI systems and robots or whatever that analyze it and approve or disapprove it. So you can actually request that their policy team go in and look at it to see if it is actually
that a real person, not a computer real person or a bot, actually looks at your ad.
Yes, and I can probably I can't even count on both of my hands how many times I've sent an ad that was disapproved to Facebook support, and they look at it, they're like, yes, you're right. This does not violate any of our policies. And they turn it on and it runs. And sometimes that's all it takes, is just touching base and making sure that a human puts their eyes on it, like Hannah said.
Yeah, and if the chat feature isn't available, oh my gosh, the UPS man just got here. My dog's about to lose his mind. Sorry. Oh, maybe he's sleeping. Never mind. If the chat feature is not available, there is also an email feature typically that is available if you are currently running ads on Facebook, and you can email them and they typically get back to you in 1 to 2 business days. It might be a little bit longer time lag due to COVID and their teams all working remotely during this time, but you can, same thing, send them a screenshot, let them know what ad account there's an ad that you want them to review, and like Lydia said, they will overrule their initial turning off of your ad or initial stop of your ad, and they'll turn it back on for you. We actually had that with the COVID-19 ad that we ran for Wildwood. That one was actually completely disapproved within like the first 10 minutes of it being in review. And then we were able to email Facebook support and they overturned it. So that would be my number one recommendation, is if you're, like Lydia said, if it gets overturned, try and chat with Facebook support or send them an email and try and get that overturned. I see Joe here too. You had another question about the click to call ads and the call now button. Okay, so the last time I checked, if you're an ads manager and you try to run a reach campaign, that call now button, it was once available. The last time I checked, it is not available. So in order to run your call now campaign, if you are on your Facebook page, just looking at it as an admin, on the far left-hand side at the bottom, there is a button that says promote now. It will probably be blue. I think last time when I clicked on it was yesterday. It's a blue button called promote now. And it will tell you a bunch of different ways that you can promote your page. It'll say promote this location, and it'll pull up a map of where your store or your place of business is located, and you can run that as an ad. It'll say promote my message button. And another thing important to note is this: if you want to run those call now ads this way, your button, your call to action button on your Facebook page must be call now, and you must already have that phone number inserted there. And make sure it's your call tracking number if you're choosing to go that route. So then when you hit the promote now button, one of the options that will appear is promote my call now button. And so you can click there, and it looks very similar to when you click the boost post button, but you build your ad directly in there. You select your ad account that you want it to charge, and then that campaign will show up in Ads Manager, but you can't build it in Ads Manager. If you have any questions, happy to hop on a one-on-one Zoom call and kind of walk through that, because it's kind of hard without it. I guess I could pull it up on the screen, but it's a little hard without having it on the screen here.
I did just see a more recent comment, Rich asking if he will be able to replay this. The answer is yes. Once this is finished, it will be posted on our page. You can start it from the beginning and get all of that information we touched on there.
Anyone else have any last questions here? Oh, Katrina, you had this question earlier. It is, are results getting better using both Instagram and Facebook? If I'm understanding your question correctly, in that, are we seeing better performing ads on Facebook and Instagram? The answer is yes. The costs across the board are dropping. You actually use in order to run an ad on Instagram, you actually use Ads Manager as well. So it is the same exact platform. So if you're just familiarizing yourself with Facebook ads and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to learn something completely new for Instagram, the good news is it's the exact same platform. And if your business has a Facebook and Instagram account, there is a way in Ads Manager to run that same exact ad that's running on Facebook on your Instagram account. You just have to make sure that it's linked in your on your page and in your Business Manager account, and you can run that same exact ad there. Really important thing though, when you're doing that is make sure that your graphic is the right size then. It might require you to do a little cropping on Instagram or adjusting what part of the image shows, because the text might get cut off in Facebook's automatic crop when you're doing that. So you might have to change up the graphics a little bit there, but you can run those same exact ads on Facebook and on Instagram.
And another thing I just kind of remembered, I meant to touch on this while I was going over that Instagram portion, but another kind of key difference between deciding whether or not you want to venture into Instagram for your business is there are studies that have been made, recent studies that show that a large portion of the people, not all, definitely not all, but a large portion of the audience on Instagram is roughly 35 or younger. So if your target audience fits in that space, then I would definitely encourage you to get on Instagram. Going back to that example of the Instagram story ad that we ran for Little Cakes, it was a special to, show your school ID to get a free cookie. So we knew that if we were going to be trying to reach high school aged people, Instagram stories was probably our best bet. So just kind of making those connections, what age am I targeting, and thinking about the platforms that work best with those ages. I'll say Wayne is an outlier. I won't say his age, but Wayne kills it on the Instagram game.
Haha, thank you.
Another thing too, to note about that Instagram campaign, I don't know if y'all saw that, but on that campaign, there was a swipe up feature. And I think that there is a big misconception that in order to have the swipe up feature on your Instagram stories is that you have to have 10,000 followers. And part of that is true. In order to organically post, so you're not running it as an ad, in order to organically post and have that swipe up feature to go to your website or, wherever, you do have to have it when you're, like I said, when you're posting organically, but you can actually run an ad to Instagram stories, which is exactly what Lydia did for that ad, and have that swipe up feature. So when somebody swiped up on that Instagram ad, we created a landing page on the Little Cakes website that had the information and the details for the offer. And what that did was it just made us understand, okay, if we can see if people are swiping up, if they're going to the website, because we have that Facebook pixel installed on their website. So we could see how much traffic was coming to that website as a result of that campaign. So you can have that swipe up feature. It just has to be something that is running as an ad. Any other questions for us while we are still on here today? I know we've mentioned this several times, but just a reminder, if you are tuning in and you haven't commented, make sure you comment, even if it's just to say hello, so that we can direct message you and get you our 6-week Facebook masterclass course. I feel like one thing that I keep discussing with my clients and other people in the community, and other business owners who are not clients, is this. We have a lot of time on our hands. And I don't want to, because I've also seen this too. I don't want to shame anybody for not taking advantage of the time or for not jumping on that next great idea or starting their new side hustle or whatever it may be. But this is truly an amazing time to learn a new skill, to jump in, take advantage of the opportunity to be in this 6-week masterclass with us, to be hopping on this call. I feel like is even a big deal, to listen to some experts, to learn, to grow, to figure out how you can make your business better. Wayne always says this: it is a great time to be working on your business, not in your business. And I think that when we're busy, it's easy to forget about those kind of strategizing times. It can be really, really hard to carve out that time for those things because you're so busy with your business and everything that's going around, dealing with your customers, with your employees. And now is a time that maybe has slowed down for you. And so it is important to prioritize that strategizing component, that learning component of growing your business.
As we wrap up, I'll just jump in real quick, and I'm gonna pose a question to both Hannah and Lydia. What would you say for everyone watching this on Facebook right now, if they're only gonna do one thing today after this training with regard to their social media marketing? What would that one thing be? What do you think, each of you think that is the one thing that they should go do right now as a result of what we presented today? Putting you all on the spot.
Great question.
I'm like, yes, how can I talk in a circle while I think about the best thing to say?
I'll go ahead and jump in. I know that this might not be something that you can literally do in 5 minutes. It might take a little more thought or preparation, but this is actually something I'm going to touch on next week. I'm going live on Tuesday on our page, so if you want to tune in, I'll talk a little bit more about that. But we didn't really touch on this very much today, but the aspect of telling stories on your Facebook page is really important, especially now. I'm sure that there are more stories to be told. So that's another way too that you can really engage your audience and capture their attention. So finding the stories to tell within your business. And I'm going to be doing an interview with someone who I may or may not be related to, who is very passionate about storytelling and the effects that it has on the human brain, how it's a really interesting way to empathize with people and capture their attention, like I said before. So if there are stories that you can think of that you have not already shared with your audience, now's a great time to do it, because again, we keep saying so many people are on social media right now. They don't want every single thing that they see to be, here, buy our product, book with us or something like that. They want stories. They want to hear your stories. So I think that would be my charge. Again, that might not be something you can do just in 2 minutes right after you quit watching this. It might take a little more thought, but that would be my challenge.
Yeah, I would say of the campaigns that we showed you, so lead generation, sympathy prize, and call tracking, I would say the easiest of those that you could take advantage of right in this very moment would probably be the sympathy prize if it's applicable to your business. If it's a gift card to your business, if it's a gift card to another local business, we see this all the time. One giveaway that I saw on Facebook recently was the company was asking people to comment with their favorite local business and tag them, and then they were going to select a winner, and then whatever local business you tagged, they would actually go and buy a gift card for that company or for you from that company. So my cousin actually won this giveaway, and she tagged a local gym that she goes to. She tagged them, and so the company that was doing the giveaway gave her a $50 gift card to this bar studio in Bruley, Louisiana. So I just thought that was really cool. But like Lydia said, within minutes, literally minutes of us messaging people, in that same day, people were already coming through the drive-through and using that exclusive offer. It varies who's going to come and redeem that, when they're going to come and redeem it, based on how good the offer is. So make sure that it is truly something that is compelling, that's going to make someone want to go to your website and buy your product, give you a call, to hire you for your services, whatever it may be. For Little Cakes, we knew giving a 50% off coupon was going to be the ultimate thing that we could give somebody. And it proved us right. I remember I messaged Bridget and Robin. I said, hey, we're going to start sending everyone the sympathy prize. Here is what the graphic looks like, so your girls at the drive-through know what to be looking for. They said, great. And then maybe 30 minutes later, Robin texted me and said, oh my gosh, somebody already came and used this. So it can have some really remarkable impacts on your business right away. If you don't have anything to give away during this time, I would say the next easiest thing to do would be the click to call ads if you're able to get that call tracking number. And we're here to be a resource for you. If I need to put together a video on where to go set up everything in CallRail and how it all works, I'm more than happy to help you. If you want to drop a comment down here below, I can make something generic that we can send out to anyone who's interested in that. That would be kind of the next thing that I would recommend. Once you start getting into lead generation, that is a little more time consuming. So I would say next step, actionable things to do after this, go make a giveaway post and create your sympathy prize, figure out what that's going to be. Or go and change that call now button to be your call to action button on your page, get that call tracking number set up, and start running those call now campaigns.
All right, both great answers, and both, I think, a challenge to everybody out there watching this on Facebook. So I would encourage you, schedule an hour, block out an hour this afternoon, right now, during lunch, whenever you can, and go start implementing these things. Because as that very last slide said, knowing and not doing is the same as not knowing. So now that you know, go implement, replay this, stop at the parts you want to see, and start implementing today. One last question I saw come in. It's from Lauren. She asked, do you have to have the physical address when uploading the email list? I'm assuming that is related to creating the lookalike audiences on Facebook. And the answer is no, you don't. Just email addresses will work just fine, uploading that and building your list, your audience within Facebook. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that you don't even have to have email addresses anymore. You can just have names and maybe locations. Hannah, is that?
Yeah, so when you're uploading that customer list, if you have their first name, their last name, their email, you can have one or any of these things. So first name, last name, email address, their zip code, and the city. It doesn't have to be their physical address. Facebook actually won't accept that, but if you have their city and or zip, that will work, and their phone numbers. Whether that be their home number for those who have a landline still, or their mobile phone numbers, that will actually work as well.
Well, thank everyone out there in Facebook land who've watched this. Thank you so much for all the comments. Again, we will be going back through and messaging every single person who left a comment, and we will be sending access on where to go get our course, 6-week course, for free. So you're going to want to keep an eye out for a notification or a message from us in Messenger with where to go to get that course and how to get it. So thanks again. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And I don't know about where you are, but here it's supposed to be beautiful all weekend. So if you're in a spot that's going to be beautiful, get outside and soak up some sunshine.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.